plane. Searchers found the plane this afternoon in a wooded area about 40 miles northwest of Tupelo in Tippah County. Investigators say they are still trying to determine what caused the crash on Sunday night. They think bad weather may have played a role. Patrick Long was a former Memphis police officer. He and his wife were headed to Memphis from Tupelo when the plane crashed. Family members say funeral arrangements are not complete, and the Longs' 2 children are staying with their grandparents.
This is WTVA News with Kathy Nash, Van Campbell, Dick Rice with weather, and Will Kohlmeyer on sports.
Good evening. The search for a plane missing since Sunday night has ended tragically in the woods of Tippah County. Search crews located the wreckage of the plane early this afternoon.
Thea Williams has more on the fatal crash.
An aerial search resumed early this morning for the missing single-engine Cessna. Ground crews combed the area from New Albany to Holly Springs, and just after 1 o'clock, the plane was spotted. The couple left Tupelo around 6:30 on Sunday evening. Officials say the plane must have gone down in this wooded area between 7 and 8 o'clock.
They were in the plane and had to be removed manually from the plane. The Ripley Fire Department did that with the jaws of life.
Patrick and Cindy Long flew to Fulton on Sunday because of a death in the family. On their return trip to Memphis, they stopped in Tupelo to refuel. Long's brother said Patrick was a student at Memphis State and had to get back on Monday for a test. After the couple didn't return to Memphis on Sunday, Civil Patrol authorities were contacted. Due to bad weather conditions yesterday, aerial search was limited. The Civil Air Patrol authorities conducted searches in several parts of North Mississippi yesterday. With the help from other emergency services and volunteers, they concentrated their efforts in this area because of resident sightings and reports.
Sunday about 7:15, we heard a noise, and really it was a crash. And first we thought it was a car crash. And then my neighbors, they were the one really thought it was a plane crash.
Officials believe Sunday's accident is the result of bad weather. Investigators from the National Transportation Safety Bureau are on their way from Florida to the crash site to conduct a thorough investigation into the cause of the accident. Thea Williams, WTVA News.
This is 13 Eyewitness News with Jerry Tate, Claudia Barr, Paul Hartley Sports, Jim Jaggers Weather, and the award-winning 13 Eyewitness News team.
This couple is over tonight. The wreckage of the plane carrying former Memphis police officer Pat Long and his wife Cindy was found today in some woods along the Tippah-Benton County line. The Longs' bodies were found inside the wreckage. The plane had been missing since Sunday night when it took off from the Tupelo airport about 8 o'clock. The Longs were on their way back from the funeral of a relative in Fulton, Mississippi, and had stopped in Tupelo because of bad weather, but took off again for Memphis even though the weather was still bad.
And he had approximately 3.5 hours of fuel on board. He was going to DeWitt, Spain, and he run into bad weather.
The wreckage was first spotted from the air. A ground team later found the bodies inside the wreckage. Long's brother Michael was with the search team that reached the crash site first. Tomorrow morning, federal investigators will begin trying to find out exactly what caused the plane to crash.
The search for a private plane missing since Sunday is over. Good evening, I'm Alex Coleman.
And I'm Pam Crittenden. Rescue crews found what they were looking for this afternoon in Mississippi. Joe Larkins reports the aircraft was found about halfway between Tupelo and Memphis.
A two-day search for the downed plane ended in this woods northwest of Blue Mountain, Mississippi. Searchers found the twisted remains of the missing Cessna about 300 yards away from a road. 40-year-old Pat Long of Memphis and his wife Cindy were inside, both dead. The aircraft was so badly crumpled, it took almost an hour to remove the bodies.
So they died instantly, and they were in the cockpit of the plane. They weren't thrown from the plane. And
people living nearby said they heard something Sunday night, but they weren't sure what it was.
Sound more like a little old loud car or something other, you know, just making a real loud racket, and next thing you know, it just had a big old crash, and that was it.
Authorities say the plane appeared to have clipped the top of a tree and spun into the ground. Today is the first day they could search by air. Search planes were grounded by rain and low clouds yesterday.
985, 908, this is Mockingbird 1-5, over.
The Civil Air Patrol intensified its search once the clouds lifted because the couple were just injured. Searchers worried about predictions of very cold overnight temperatures.
The cold is a big factor in our determining the sense of urgency. It adds to the emergency of the situation we're in.
Authorities still don't know why the single-engine plane went down. Joe Larkins, News 3, Blue Mountain, Mississippi.
It has been 2 days of waiting and worrying for the family of Pat and Cindy Long, but until this afternoon, they held out hope the two would somehow be found alive.
Relatives traveled to Blue Mountain, Mississippi this morning to be closer to the search.
There hasn't been any type of contact, there's been nothing. We're just still waiting for anything.
Patrick Long and his wife Cindy had flown to Mississippi for an uncle's funeral yesterday. Throughout the 2-day search for their downed plane, the family never gave up hope.
I thought it was bringing soup when I thawed it out, but it ended up being chilly, and I said, well, that's even better. That'll warm them up good. Got some coffee for them. They haven't eaten for 2 days. They're going to be starved.
You're very optimistic.
I am. They're going to find them. I've been praying. I know God's going to answer my prayer.
Search crews tried to echo that optimism, letting relatives know they were doing what they could to find the plane.
We have a find, well, I won't say if, we're planning to find. Right. As soon as we locate where they are, we're going to call the medics, the ambulances and all on standby at the hospital.
The Longs had 2 children, 9-year-old Carrie and 5-year-old Chad, who've been staying with relatives here since their parents were reported missing.